Dilem-Monday people, I have been waiting so long to get on the air and finally say that when you all woke up this morning, it was a long time coming, but Warren Zevon is finally a rock and roll Hall of Famer. It would not have been like, listen, you all know I've come on this show. I've done every Dilemma show for the last 5 years. I have been campaigning, writing letters, complaining, advocating for, complaining for Warren Zevon to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where he is so justly and rightfully belonged for like 30 years now. We finally have him, people, and I could not be happier about it. So welcome to Dilem-Monday. We've got a lot to talk about. What we originally planned. Where'd he go? I think I'm going to have to fix him at some point.
Uh-oh.
He disappeared.
He got sick of hearing the Warren Zevon thing, and now he just...
He probably did, but I'll go fix him. But no, wait. So yeah, no, that's here. Know what? Do I have the ability to just play this again? No, I can't. Or I don't want to add an overlay. But yeah, no. So one moment. What was it? What was the sketch with on Saturday Night Live? Talk amongst yourselves for a moment.
Talk amongst myself for a moment. All right.
Well, hello, James. Were we supposed to read his shirt when he stood up for 7 seconds? I wasn't sure
I didn't look. I really was not able to see it at all because he was very kind of far away.
Yeah, it was toward the top of the screen. There was a front, there was a back. I couldn't make out either. I think it was pivotal to what he was talking about. I just couldn't make either out. Hopefully he can clarify that when he gets back.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know I've seen him wear that shirt before, but I didn't really see what it actually said.
All right. Hopefully we're not the only ones in this camp. We'll figure that out.
It's all right. There's a private chat thing on this StreamYard thing. Maybe we should just put it up there for everyone and be like, what does his shirt actually say?
Oh, start a campaign. Other people he knows who might be watching might also be familiar with the shirt. I am not.
No, sorry, I don't pay attention to the wardrobe that much. I'm not that kind of guy.
There we go.
I barely notice when people have stuff that doesn't have words on it.
I don't notice when people have haircuts. That's how bad I am.
Yeah, the most glaring things will just go right over my head. So I'm not Corey, we were just saying we were not able to read either side of your shirt, and we weren't sure if we were supposed to be able to.
So the back of my shirt does say Zevon for the Rock Hall.
That I saw. I don't know what it says.
Oh, and the front says Jan's gone. I had this shirt made when Jan Werner was kicked off the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame committee. The committee that he helped to create, but he's a miserable, no good, horrible human being. So,
well, you have to have the shirt altered now because the back is not entirely
he's in.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah, something to update it.
He's only partially in, kind of like.
Well, the induction
special cat, right? So does he get can he still go in as a real person?
I don't think so. The only person who's technically ever been, actually 2 people, have been inducted to the Hall of Fame under 2 different categories. Anyone have a guess?
Clapton?
So Clapton is the first person to be inducted 3 times, but all as a performer.
Okay. I guess I forgot there are separate categories.
So the first one
McCartney.
The first one to be inducted under 2 different categories was Carole King. Carole King was initially inducted in the 90s with her ex-husband and songwriting partner, Jerry Goffin. So she got in the musical excellence category with him and then later got in as a performer. And then eventually she got in. And then Ringo Starr has the musical excellence award and also got in with that group he was in, the Beatles. I don't know if any of y'all have heard of it, but those 2 are the only 2 people in under 2 categories. So who knows? But the other point, to your point, Dad, you brought up that some people are complaining, he didn't get in fully. Listen, he got in the same category that Woody Guthrie got in with. He got in the same category as some of the great jazz legends, as some other incredible people. So you know what? The other thing too, he had to the committee that he got in with doesn't have to deal with just regular voting. These are the people that the Hall of Fame sought and said they need to be in because their influence was so great. Isn't there something almost even cooler about the fact that
you could go over all the bull crap you want, but he didn't get in the way he wanted to get in.
I don't think he ever wanted. I was gonna say he's dead. I don't think he cares which way he's getting it.
Well,
that's one of the great shames.
I'm happy he's in because now I don't have to hear it at every show as I have for the past 5 years.
Oh, but we're gonna keep hearing about it until November 8th.
I was going to say the next several he'll be talking about how he's in the same subject, just different.
Just different. Yes.
I do have a question. Is
Yeah.
this like similar to like say that you make it to the Baseball Hall of Fame, but you didn't make it on the 10th year, but you made it on the Veterans Committee? Is that similar to that, or no?
No, it'd be like you
Similar.
got in as like a broadcast. Like, all right, so Joe Torre gets into the Hall of Fame as a coach, but not as a ball player, even though he won the MVP and had some really good numbers.
Okay.
It would be more closer to that.
All right, that makes more sense now.
So yeah. I if we're gonna do a little bit of the Hall of Fame
Just a touch.
I looked at that list and I gotta tell you, that's the weakest list I have ever seen getting into the Hall of Fame. And
You say
Corey's
that
gonna
every
play
year.
it different because no, there's other years where there's some like the best person or best band is Bad Company going in this year. And I like Bad Company, they're good, but they're not even a top 100 band. And that's the best band there.
I haven't even
No,
seen the
it's
list
true.
yet. Corey, would you be able to share the list? I haven't even seen it
I
yet.
absolutely could share the list. Let me pull it up for everybody.
All right.
I'll even try to get the visual onto the computer as well.
And like I said, I like Bad Company. And then I saw, Cyndi Lauper. I was happy. She was cool. But Corey and I started looking at how many albums people sell. And there's some people that are not in the Hall of Fame that have so outsold the people that get in the Hall of Fame. It's not even close. And I'm trying to figure out what the deal is. There's groups like Styx. And the one that I don't care how much anybody wants to make fun of me, Air Supply has sold 150 million albums.
They still
How
tour.
is Air Supply not in here? I mean, there's no one on this list.
You're going to tell me a list that includes freaking Joe Cocker is a
Who never
weak
wrote
list?
his own song. He's a
Like that
karaoke
matters.
singer. Come on.
Bullshit. Okay. A karaoke singer. Listen, he was a song interpreter. The man took
Okay.
songs that had absolutely completely different meanings and put them on their heads. When
There is one big star here. His name's Chubby Checker, because
the fact he
has
wasn't in
sold-
is bullshit.
That right. He had more. His same song kept hitting number one decade after decade after decade, and he has sold a few 100 million copies. He is the biggest person on this list, both physically and sales wise. Absolutely number one on this list. And I just, based on that, the Chubby Checker is the number one guy on the list. Is it really the best year ever? I don't think so.
Okay, you can have your opinion. That's fine. No, I think here's the thing. I think there's a lot. It's a younger list than a lot of the other years. I think this is probably one of the youngest. Average on the one hand, yes, there's some outliers like Chubby Checker and Carol Kay, one of if not the most recorded bass player in recording history. Over 11,000 records as a studio musician in Los Angeles. We're talking, but the White Stripes wrote "The Smoke on the Water" of my generation.
Right, they have one song that
They had
kid
a lot of
played.
songs.
But I just, when I think the guys that didn't even get, Jay Giles' band is not in, and this group is in. Styx isn't.
They weren't nominated this year.
That's the point. How do you put these guys in and not Jay Giles? How do you put in Jethro Tull's not in? I just it to me, it's just, once again,
I can give you for each one of these people why they're in.
It's
Bad Company has been a consistent staple of classic rock radio for the last 50 years.
Bad Company should have been in.
They were one of the bands that everyone complained about not being in. However, how do you have a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame without Bad Company?
Bad Company, look, when you listen to classic radio, rock radio, Bad Company songs come on at least once a day. But if you're going to go there, I'll go to War. Lowrider comes on every day.
No one's fighting you on,
comes on every day.
No one's fighting you on that one. That's one that I absolutely agree with. And we can touch upon last week's festivities as well. But like, we're talking, Joe Cocker was the ultimate interpreter of a song, period. The man took the man's energy, the man's performance style, the bands that he was able to put together behind him. The Mad Dogs and Englishmen tour was a tour that like nothing rock and roll had ever seen. He gave an outlet
Joe
to
Cocker
guys like
deserves to be in because they let Linda Ronstadt in. If you let Linda in, you have to let Joe in.
What's the difference between him and Elvis?
Elvis actually wrote one or two songs.
No, he bought songwriting credits on these songs, or
whatever
the Colonel did, but
his name says he wrote it. But I'm just saying, and please don't compare Joe Cocker to Elvis ever in my presence. That's just you're completely out of your mind. That's just blasphemy. Your ignorance is just no. Please.
Yes, I am very ignorant on this topic.
Joe Cocker and Elvis. You're going to make a stand on that?
A comparison? Absolutely. I will absolutely make a comparison between Joe Cocker and Elvis.
There's one wanted to see Joe in his epileptic fit dancing.
Apparently, everyone did, to the point that they parodied it. Like, that was part of it. That man was so overcome by the music that was behind him and the words that were coming from him that he went into these almost spasmodic fits on stage. He was so overwhelmed. Like, but we praised Jim Morrison for, getting drunk and lying on stage. Like, come on, what's the difference? Remember, Jim Morrison.
Dave, are you a Joe Cocker fan?
I'd have nothing against him. I don't like. He's not somebody I watched a lot of. I like the few songs of his that I know. I don't know his background to the length that Corey's describing him. I do, of course, remember the John Belushi thing. That's what stands out.
Right. Yes. The greatest thing that stands out is him not doing it. Someone else making fun of him. Let's think about that. That's like an Elvis impersonator being more famous than Elvis.
But that was also the whole testament of SNL. Once you're someone when SNL's going after you, and he was one of the earliest. That was something that helped get that show well known, and one of the earlier well remembered features is just honoring that musician, having John standing right beside Joe acting as Joe. But I know there's way more to his musical career.
James, how about you with Joe Cocker?
I never had an issue with Joe Cocker. I do agree with you. It's blasphemous to put him and Elvis in the same conversation. But
thank you.
No disrespect, Corey.
All right, then know what? Sympathy for the devil. Then,
okay.
if I'm blasphemous, sympathy for the devil.
All right. Well, that's a Rolling Stones song, a very good one at that. Cyndi Lauper. You know what? She's still relevant, which is really cool. She had a Broadway show that ran for a number of years. And let's face it, Cyndi was with the WWE guys. That was pretty cool. No, she was a lot of fun. I like it. Again, I'm not really dissing on each person here. It's just as a class to me, it doesn't excite me. I guess that's what I'm saying. Usually there's someone there that, wow, I love the Doobie Brothers. I was so happy when the Doobie Brothers, when Foreigner got in, that was just huge,
Yeah.
great groups that I just loved. And again, I like Bad Company, and everybody has tried to do the Twister in their life. You know, it's cool, and Cindy's cool, and you know, Soundgarden had moments, and White Stripes. Everybody had to listen to that song for about 15
Hey,
years.
not for nothing. Outkast was this for a guy who's not a hip hop guy like me, you know what? This was this one band that actually had this amazing crossover. There was enough rock and roll energy to them. They didn't sound like any of their contemporaries because they were kind of doing their own thing. And you know what? They had hits that speak to it.
I'm not knowledgeable enough about Outkast. I watched a few of the videos. It's not my thing, so that's not music that I'd care about. But then that's, you know, I'm not saying I don't see Outkast better than Styx or Jethro Tull or Jay Giles Band. It's just Dan Fogelberg, and then, you know, the 150 million sales of it's just not. I'm sorry, this class doesn't excite me. I'm very happy Warren Zevon got in. I am. And for those of you who heard what you thought might be earthquakes or things just exploding last night, that we were at war, that was just Corey screaming at the top of his lungs, running up and down the stairs, screaming and with exuberance and excitement. It was, you know, pretty. It was actually funny, but I was happy that Warren got in.
It genuinely, last night I was in absolute tears. Again, I've been talking about this and advocating for this for freaking years at this point. And the guys, the first people I texted were Matt and Sam from the Bike and Beer Tour, who I honestly think had a step in this, because I went from city to city to city, almost doing like a soapbox rally every Dilemma show, trying to get this guy into the Hall of Fame, and they're ecstatic about it. Like, it's a big day for me. It's an important day for me, as silly as that sounds.
Hopefully no damage was done during your running around. I'm sure Craig's been preparing for this, and your house has Zevon.
Absolutely. You know, I did bring up before that I think that War, or at least Lowrider, the combination of the two bands, should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Dave came to the show that we were at the other night. We got to see Lee Oskar perform in a very intimate setting, about 100 people there. And I've seen a lot of people play harmonica. I've seen a lot of people do a lot of things, but I have never seen someone play the harmonica like that. That was so special. You know, there's not a lot of people that are the greatest of all time, but he is it. We got to see the greatest harmonica player of all time. I mean, there's no wrong notes. There's nothing that's off. It's just pure brilliance when he's playing. I don't know, Dave, what did you, because you had really never seen him before, correct?
Correct. Just a wonderful thing. I can't thank you guys enough for including me in that. Just, I mean, between the stories he was telling, the performing, just very inspiring on so many fronts. And yeah, the performance itself was great. I was noticing, among other things, just like how he kind of moves when he plays. It's actually, I'm hearkening back now to what Corey was just saying about how Joe Cocker moved, and he was just like moved by the music. I'm thinking something similar to for Lee. He was like kind of rocking his shoulders back and forth. And I was also amused when he was playing along with Lowrider, and they showed the original video of War performing it on the monitors. Mid 1970s Lee Oskar had the same body language as live 2025.
Yeah,
on the stage. So it's like he's always been performing that way, and it's just kind of timeless for him.
And that hair in the 70s, like, my lord.
And he seems to have more hair now than he did then. I cannot relate to that at all.
He did have the full fro. I mean, he fit, man. He was just and what a gracious, nice person. I mean, every person that went to speak to him that night, whether you were the youngest, the oldest, or whatever,
wow,
he came over. And you want to talk about someone who broke like race barriers and things like that. He was the one white guy in the band. Now his hair looked the same as everybody else, but Lee he's the best. And it was a lot of fun to be able to spend a few days with those guys and to see what he could do with their harmonica. It was just great. We have some Danish beer because of it. Yes.
And I'm in love with this now. This is like, if you want to describe this beer, if you ever, when you see a movie and someone orders, "Can I have a beer?" and you watch them pouring it, this is what I'm imagining that beer on screen tastes like. This tastes like a beer, not some special kind of beer. Not like, this is like, if I had to choose just the most, what is beer, it's this.
Okay.
So
good to know.
to the Danes, to your king.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you go. But it was a fun week. Actually all week was fun. We Corey and I got to go, we spent a few days down. We were in New York. And then over the weekend we were in Boston all weekend, which was kind of just a good time. And we got to go see Lexington and Concord.
Yeah, the week after the 250th anniversary of the shot heard around the world.
Did they have any events or anything acknowledging that anniversary?
Last week they did. So we kind of did my favorite New England circuit to do is when you go to Plymouth in October and you go to Salem in November. By the way, my travel tips: if you're traveling New England in the fall, don't go to Salem in October. It's horrible.
No matter what week in October you do, you could do the first week, but it sucks.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Plus, that's when you should go to Plymouth anyway. The real first Thanksgiving was in October.
Canada still does that.
But those are up late to the parties, but congrats, Warren.
Yeah, no.
Steph threw it out there. Come on the show, Steph. There's certain places in Massachusetts that just are hidden gems. Lexington is just a beautiful town. I hadn't, and I'm almost embarrassed to say it, I hadn't been there in like 50 something years. Last time I was there with my parents, and I think I was in elementary school. So it's over 50 years ago that I was there. And Corey and I were driving by. The houses are beautiful. The town was gorgeous, well kept. And the visitor center, they had a great little presentation in the movie theater.
Yeah, it was like a nice, it was a very nice, it was like a 30-minute presentation or interactive multimedia experience, which was really cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was nice because usually when Corey has gigs, we have to get in and get out. Even if we stay at a hotel, everybody has to go home the next day, normal stuff. We actually had time because we went down Friday night. Corey had the show Friday night. And then we stayed in Cambridge all day Saturday too. And we got to meet, Rick was there. We had some brunch with him and had a good time. Corey had played a show for a party. And then the next day, Sunday, we had totally free because we stayed again overnight in Cambridge. And Cambridge is just a great place to stay because it's near everything. I can't say enough about the Kimpton. It's just a really great place, and it's connected to the mall. So unfortunately, Corey and I spent a lot of money at the mall. But
actually, what? Not really. No, I actually think I found every sale I could have possibly found. Like, I left with an entire summer like gig wardrobe for under $150.
How
So-
many guitars did you buy?
Not a single guitar.
Hey,
I-
progress.
Right? I'm getting better. Wait, by the way, can I throw out one last thing about Warren Zevon?
No.
I feel like it won't be the last, but go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. So last night almost immediately after the announcement was made and I made a post, I get a random message from the journalist Marcus Papadopoulos, who and he asked me if I wanted to be quoted in his article that he just wrote. So here it is. I think this is my first time getting quoted to like this degree in something, which was really cool. And he put my whole quote. So thank you for that, Marcos.
Did it include?
And he got the Dilemma band in there too on the whole thing, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
So yeah, no, we got some. Corey got some press out of that, but I mean, you know what? Other than Billy Joel, I think Corey was probably the biggest advocator, and David Letterman. So I'll go Billy Joel, David Letterman, and Corey in that order for getting Warren Zevon into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Because as he said, you know, over the past 5 years, there's probably almost 1,000 shows. And he says it every show. You know, he's like, one political statement that I'm going to be making today, and everybody cringes. Oh my God, what is he going to say? And then he talks about Warren Zevon getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I've seen Corey live enough so I could tell when it was coming just by how he was leading up to it.
Oh, and it was always fun too, in like, you know, late October, early November, when we were already so sick and tired of hearing everyone who makes the same ad.
And you see people just ready to run to the door. They're like, "Oh my God, no!
Oh God, what?" They don't even know what side I'm supporting, but they realize that the only side I supported was Warren Zevon getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And it's funny how many politicians have joked about Warren Zevon, the former Democratic nominee for the vice presidency. He a few years ago actually tweeted, "As the governor of Minnesota, I am appalled that Warren Zevon is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame." You can look this tweet up, by the way. Tim Walz actually said this.
Well, there's a lot of things that Tim Walz says that aren't very bright. So you what? That's not a political statement. That's a fact. He said it on a debate. He said, "I say really stupid things sometimes." That's a
oh my
quote.
God, no wait, you're right. I said he did say something in the lines of that. You're not even wrong, but still, actually, let me see.
That's not a political statement. That's his quote in a debate, that I say stupid things sometimes. That was his quote in a debate. Just saying. Anyway, you know what? I wanted to do this show because of superheroes.
It's National Superhero Day, everybody.
That's even new.
I didn't until this afternoon when I saw an article, and I was like, "You're kidding! You're actually kidding!" It was hysterical to me. What timing? This was totally not planned. That this would be the case, but like, pretty crazy, pretty nuts that just happened to work out.
I need to go around this panel here. Let's start with James.
All right.
All-time favorite, greatest superhero of all time for you.
I've always grew up loving Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero.
I can't say anything. I love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The spider sense is the greatest thing ever. It's tingling, baby.
Well, Spider-Man also holds a special place in my heart. It was my first ever superhero movie I saw in theaters when I was 7. The Tobey Maguire one, the first one. So
the good one,
the great one.
But aren't they all the same, really? I mean,
no, they kept getting worse over time.
But it's the same movie, just different guy who looks the same.
Welcome to superhero franchise sequels.
Which we definitely have to get into this. The
With some
reboots.
exceptions, of course.
The reboots and the reboots.
All right, Dave,
and the-
who's your all-time favorite?
Well, James took my answer, but I always like Spider-Man as well. Batman as well. I just feel like, I mean, I'm sure there's deeper, lesser known ones that are also interesting, but just of the big ones, I kind of didn't really get into superheroes like movies or anything until I was an adult, but definitely, the Spider-Mans and the Batmans always stood out to me. More so even than Superman, honestly.
All right, I'm going to go to Corey next because I know it's going to be completely off base, but go ahead, Corey. Who's your favorite superhero?
Favorite from Marvel would be Captain America. Favorite from DC would be Rorschach from Watchmen.
All right, so let's go to Captain America first, because at least I used to watch that cartoon as a kid. I loved Captain America too. They would have him or Iron Man on the Saturday show. They would, which one would be week to week. So tell me why Captain America?
I think the whole story with him, first of all, Captain America punched Nazis. He actually punched Adolf Hitler in the face. That's I think first and foremost, that's pretty badass. Captain America was a World War II vet, fought for our freedom, damn it, fought for the freedom of everyone. And also just like he was a wimpy nothing who got turned into a super soldier. He was the all-American kid turned the all-American hero. Like, how neat. And then he gets frozen. He gets frozen for decades, only to be, found by the at least in the original, like with the original comics in the 60s. Yeah, first of all, they revived the character after kind of going away for a bit because they didn't need it. He comes back with the Avengers, unfrozen, ready to go, as though no time passes. This dude's a badass.
All right. I'm all in on Captain America. I liked Captain America. Let's go to your next pick. I was never a giant graphic novel guy. There's 2 or 3 that I really appreciated. And it's funny, those are 3 of my favorite books, even though the rest of the genre never kind of did it for me. But I thought that Rorschach was such a well-written, compelling character. I thought, this guy doesn't have any actual superpowers, unlike the rest of his contemporaries, or no like real skill. He's a true-to-heart detective. What was with the mask?
The mask was about not being able to sense identity. It was a moving Rorschach test. It was trying to actually literally get into your psyche. What are we really about? What are we really about? What is the manner of humanity? What are we willing to do to keep humanity correct? And who's right, who's wrong, and what right do we have to do what we do? The dude was fascinating. This is he was, where you have Dr. Manhattan, who is the ultimate superhero. He has unlimited power, can do whatever he wants, shift anything, time, space, matter. Rorschach wasn't any of that. He was a guy with a lot of brains in a sense of just, real, true justice.
Yeah, you're not selling it to me. I just can't. That's not me.
It's actually similar, though, to Batman was also originally a detective and doesn't really have any superpowers. He just has like gadgets and the story, the history, the finances. So I didn't know. I saw Watchmen once, like a long time ago. I remember liking it. It's been a while, so I don't remember all the characters. But what you just described is not unlike what I have learned about the history of the character of Batman.
Well, no, it's true. By the way,
gadgets make him a Superman type figure, and that he has a gadget for everything that makes it a superpower, kind of. You know what I mean? So,
by the way, DC Comics. What does by the way, DC Comics? It stood for Detective Comics.
There you go.
Does it still
big in the
I think it's technically at this point probably just DC Comics as just a like Duncan.
Wasn't Connecticut like a really big comic book haven? Like, wasn't there a bunch of comic book companies here? Because I remember going to that exhibit in Hartford that time about the comic books. I'm pretty sure
years ago, yeah.
That there was a
Avon. There's that printing facility in Avon I'm pretty sure printed for Marvel.
Marvel, yeah, right here in Avon, Connecticut. So, yeah,
I think there's
Connecticut
still
has
a-
a history.
I think there's still a Comic Con, not the National Comic Con, but Connecticut has its own, or did for a
Connecticut.
while. Yeah, I think I actually went. I was at one of the early ones. I think they're mostly at Foxwoods in recent
Yeah.
years. I went to one of the first ones because I was actually on a podcast before everyone had one, like in the early 2010s, and my friend that was running it, who tragically passed away a few years after that. There's still like pictures of it. It was at the hotel in North Haven, and it was a lot smaller. I think obviously it's gotten a lot bigger since then. But it was cool to just be at that, and I'm sure a lot of the stuff there was not anything I knew about, but it was just a Comic Con, and not the big one, but a smaller scale one, but still a cool thing to be a part of.
That is cool. So I'm going to give you my superhero here.
Yes.
I'm going to be the most boring of all because I love Superman. Who loves Superman? My parents.
Your love of Superman is so cute. It is really the cutest thing in the world. Like, genuine. I'm not saying that to be like an asshole. Like, it really is cute. You've adored him since you were a little kid.
Yeah, I mean, and actually the first time, and I wished I still had the comic, but I know you bought me the one that time too. My Uncle Dave had a candy store, one of the original soda shops in Orange, New Jersey. And as a little boy, he'd let us go to the soda shop, and what did you have there? Tons of comic books. And I got that comic book, and with one of the first, the Superman comic books, and I had that whole record set with Superman. I always loved Superman. I didn't have a middle name. My parents never gave me a middle name. So I called myself Craig Superman Riemann. I mean, hey, what the heck? I got to choose it myself. I even had a pin made where it said Craig Superman Riemann.
And I wish I was able to find that today. Because again, when I say it was adorable, like it really was adorable how much you love Superman.
I do. I mean, who doesn't want to be able to fly and quicker than a locomotive and X-ray vision and just cool. I don't like the kryptonite thing. I never.
Superman doesn't work without it to a degree.
Well, everybody has to have the quote Achilles heel, as it were. No one can be perfect. You always have to have that one little thing that has a flaw.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I made a list of tons of superheroes. And actually, Corey, I think I know the answer to your
That was
question.
my freshman year of high school, by the way.
What was?
So I went around for Halloween. I went as both Rorschach and the guy who Rorschach really was, who used to carry around The End Is Nigh in New York City, which was so nerdy of me, but like I used a white bandana over my face, and I walked around in the dark with a white bandana on my face, and then I went around with my The End Is Nigh sign afterwards.
And that's when I told people that there was a mistake at the hospital and really couldn't possibly be my child.
Oh, that's when you did that? Okay.
Yes, I was like, wow.
It was that moment he knew.
Yeah, I knew
It took 15 years.
Well, yeah, I was trying to deny it, but then
Oh my God, that was like almost 15 years ago.
Oh, jeez.
But I was gonna say. So Corey, you asked me a question before the show started about the first superhero.
So
I think I know the answer.
Movie. What was what some people consider the first like superhero movie?
Okay,
Now,
can I guess?
Ever
yes.
made?
Yes,
right.
and this is arguable. There's no actual.
I believe the answer is Martian the Manhunter.
So I read that. The one that I'm going with, though, I'm going 1920.
Oh, jeez.
A lot of people argue that Douglas Fairbanks, when he starred as Zorro.
Oh.
Zorro.
Oh.
Because he was, the
Zorro's
first
a superhero. I'll go with that.
And by the way,
but wasn't there a silent movie?
That's
with Zorro?
Douglas starring
Fairbanks Sr.
Yes,
Okay.
not Junior.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, he is often considered to be the first. That's considered to be the first superhero movie because he's a masked hero who's saving the day and has his alter ego. I got to play Zorro in a play about silent movies when I was in 5th grade.
I don't remember that.
I remember this.
I was trying to deny it, probably. I don't know.
He was holding up at the end his Nye sign outside the school.
Yeah, that was just Nye. When you asked me that question, I started thinking, this is probably a trick question. So I started thinking about cartoons. And then I thought about my favorite few as a kid.
Your favorite Martian?
Well, the other ones to me that just started standing out, I was like, all right, when I was a little kid, we had Mighty Mouse, right? Here he comes to save the day. It was Mighty. All right. Then I thought Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse, which was really cool. And I'm trying to remember the other one that I had thought of. It's Mighty Mouse, Courageous Cat. Underdog, because Underdog was kind of like Superman, but a dog, and he was great.
Not Crypto the Super Dog.
Nah, that although that was in
Superman's actual dog.
Yeah, no, but Underdog was cool because he would find the telephone booth. He would try to hook up with Sweet Polly Purebred, and and he would become Underdog. So those were the three. It was kind of going back in my head. Maybe one of those three were the oldest superheroes. I was thinking Mighty Mouse, but then I looked up the thing about the Martian, the Manhunter, who I'm going to admit I've never heard of before tonight.
The Martian Manhunter, John. Oh my God, what the hell's his name? He was in the Justice League.
He was, but he was like gotten rid of. Like they dumped him.
He. And by the way, we're talking the cartoon. Like as far as cartoons, the Justice League cartoon, James, from when we were like what?
I want to say like 5, 6 or somewhere around there.
And it went on for a little bit, and then they had the spinoff there.
Mm-hmm.
Those stories.
So is that the Wonder Twins one, or is that
no? That's the Super Friends. That's the Super Friends. That's like for your.
Okay.
The Super Friends just ridiculous. Like the thing with the Justice League series, it was kind of like a kind of heavy show for kids. Like some of those plot lines were kind of deep.
I mean, like Wonder Woman.
Well, actually, in the dealings with the Amazons, dealings with the Green Lantern Society, and the whole idea that there wasn't just one Green Lantern, there were so many of them, and they had their system of justice, their code. There's the code. Oh my God, there was the whole code.
TV was a whole lot different back in the late 90s, early 2000s. They were actually good.
Yeah.
Well, I always dug Wonder Woman because I remember Linda Carter. She was my first Wonder Woman. Actually, the first Wonder Woman I remember was Kathy Lee Crosby. Actually, there was a Wonder Woman movie with Kathy Lee Crosby, who was related to Bing Crosby, and then obviously my favorite of all, Gal Gadot. Oh my God, even if she talks sexy, I mean, that Israeli accent's just, oh my God, she's just so hot. Just a beautiful lady.
First Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot, great. Second one,
the second one was
the second movie should never have been made. That was
second was an atrocity.
Yeah, I was thinking that one.
Yeah, I mean, it was during the pandemic. They were looking to just like throw anything out there.
I didn't get Kate McKinnon. Right, that was Kate McKinnon in that.
Yeah, who the hell wanted to see her?
By the way, if you ever get the chance to go on YouTube, Kate McKinnon doing her impression of Gal Gadot, It's hysterical. Like it's spot on because she does the accent. She gets the mannerisms down. It's hysterical.
Yeah, but she can't get the looks down. So,
Oh, I don't think she's going for that.
Nah.
Yeah, no, she. But I mean, I want to point out there, I do love Wonder Woman. Dave, second, like if you could be.
What about or a villain?
Well, this isn't about villains. We could do villains, super villains later. Is Spider-Man the superhero you'd want to be, or is there another superhero that you would consider?
That's a heavy question.
Don't worry, James, you're next.
Okay. Well, it gives me time to think.
So does my stalling. Give me time. I would say yes, just because just the slinging through cities, like the flight, it's different flight from Superman. It's not really flight. It's swinging like a spider, but it probably the freedom.
Kind of like being Tarzan of the city.
Something like that. I'd be worried about crashing into a building and navigating a turn wrong, because that'd be what I'd worry about. And just the simple worrying about it would probably cause it to happen. Whereas if I just did it, and everything would be fine. But this
do
is
you
one
like
of many
the
reasons.
the alter ego kind of thing, being the Peter Parker guy?
I kind of like the story. I've seen the different portrayals between the was it Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland? They've all kind of taken it on a little bit differently. And as somebody who's always been too much of a literalist ever since childhood, I see every version and like, this is good, but like people would know. There's no way, especially in modern culture, there's no way you could hide identity that well and be out that public. The mask could get torn, something would happen. Somebody you used to know would notice something and tweet about it. And did you like the original, the cartoon, the
Amazing Spider-Man?
I know my brother used to watch that. I think I caught it occasionally. I was not like
that was the one I watched.
Okay,
but
I didn't really get into like super comic booky, like that kind of like Marvel or superhero stuff till I was a little older. The comics I looked at as a kid, it would just be like Looney Tunes for cartoons or Archie, or not like superhero type of comics. Just other types of comics is what I was into as a kid, Peanuts and stuff like that. So I didn't really get into that too much till I was older.
All right, let's move, James. You've had time. We've given you that moment.
I'd be Iron Man, honestly. I think it'd be awesome to be, first of all, genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, but also wear the red and gold awesome suit, to be able to fly and just have that kind of lifestyle. Iron Man was cool.
Can I throw you a follow-up on that?
Sure.
And I guess this opens up to everybody. Who wins in the fight, Iron Man or Batman?
Iron Man.
Yeah, Iron Man. Unless Batman's got gadgets.
Yeah, unless he has a way to like stop the heart from.
Well, because I was gonna. That's a very Bruce Wayne. Wayne Enterprises.
Yeah, he could find it out
again, because Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne. I think that's a. Listen, we're talking about two very, very.
I think Tony Stark
inline characters.
Is this like the Joe Cocker and Elvis Presley of the superhero set?
By the way, I saw the comment before about Felix the Cat. So Felix the Cat was on during the same hours of Courageous Cat and Minnie Mouse. So we needed to, I saw that comment, but Felix the Cat was not a superhero. But Mighty Mouse and Courageous Cat, they were, or Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse rather. Corey. So would you really want to be Warsha, or would you rather be Captain? Or is there a superhero?
Actually, I was going to say, if I'm going with anyone in Watchmen, I mean, Dr. Manhattan was able to control matter, space, and time. Though he kind of, though he never, he can never fully.
It wasn't all that fun.
Though I was going to say he's able to change up any part of his anatomy. So. And why did they let him just walk around naked? That's my question. Everyone else had to wear clothing, but your Dr. Manhattan and your blue bits are everywhere. But whatever. No, if I had to choose who I would want to be,
Yes.
Ooh. Shit. Like part of me, I guess part of me is thinking like, Batman being Bruce Wayne, he gets to have that double life. He gets to have this ability, and he's doing all of the, he's doing all of this stuff. Both parts of his life are exciting. Both parts of his life, he's getting to do incredible work. He had kind of like Tony Stark. He has the ability to both he's a playboy, but he's also a philanthropist. He's also a businessman, a scientist, a genius. And he also, but like at the same time,
he comes close a lot of times to getting Catwoman. He's so close, and he never closes the deal.
The ultimate will they, won't they?
Because Batgirl's really more Robin's kind of thing. Like
you would think so. This is Bruce Wayne, not Bill Belichick.
By the way, the first Batgirl from the Adam West series. Remember Barbara Gordon? I forget.
Commissioner Gordon's
daughter, who secretly played Batgirl. What other show was she on that she's very famous for? It was one episode on one show. And I think Corey knows the answer, and he's going to probably show it. I'm seeing.
Nah.
Okay. Corey, do you actually have it?
No, I was actually going to pull up something else. But
So were you guys Star Trek fans?
No.
Oh, I know where you're going. I know who you're going with.
She was the Green Lady.
Really?
That Captain Kirk hooked up with.
Oh, interesting.
Not only was he with Uhura, but he was with the Green Lady.
Fascinating.
Yes, exactly. You did it. that was phenomenal. All right, so I'm trying to think. Obviously, I really want to be Superman. I also loved Aquaman. I thought Aquaman was cool.
I feel like he gets a lot of fun.
Useless.
What do you mean useless?
It's useless. Are you telling me there's an emergency in Tucson, Arizona? What the fuck is that? Is that Aquaman gonna do?
Okay, I don't care about Tucson, Arizona. I am the king of the oceans. I get to ride my little seahorse thing, and there's beautiful mermaids everywhere. I mean, he was cool, and he threw the water balls, and he had the secret telepathic thing that he could get all the fish.
And if there's no water around you, he's useless.
Listen, you could like whoever you want. I thought Aquaman was super cool.
No one Aquaman couldn't have done saved everyone from Timothy McVeigh because it was Kansas City and there's no water.
Okay.
What superhero movie was he in?
Yeah.
Oklahoma's
I'm just saying. Literally,
wrong city, by the way.
Wait.
Oklahoma. It was Oklahoma City.
Did I say Oklahoma City?
You said Kansas.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Either way, you're in the middle of nowhere. What's he going to do? Every other member of the Justice League could have saved that situation except Aquaman.
He couldn't zoom in?
He could zoom in, right? Listen.
Or teams?
I love swimming. I think it's great to be Aquaman. Aquaman ruled. He was the best. Loved Aquaman. I like the mermaid girls. They were hot.
I was gonna say you and Adrian, right? You and what's oh my god, Vinny Chase. You and Vinny
Entourage.
Vinny Chase was Aquaman.
Was the greatest of all the Aquaman. Vinny Chase was my Aquaman.
All of them. How many were there?
Well,
Vinny Chase.
Yeah. I just have to make one quick thing. Entourage, severely underrated HBO show.
Absolutely.
Loved Entourage. Although I did not like the movie. I thought the movie sucked.
The movie was bad, and the last 2 seasons were terrible.
Definitely the last season was not nearly what the rest of the thing was up till then. But yeah, no, and what's his name? How does he get Sloan? Are you kidding me?
Oh,
Turtle?
No,
No,
E. It was E. It was E. Yeah.
How
First of
does
all-
he get Sloan? Come on now.
First of all, I will not take any turtle bashing, honestly.
Turtle got Ronda Rousey.
Turtle got Meadow Soprano.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
True.
And that's the ultimate fuck you to anyone right there, is that.
That's right. I love her show, by the way. Her and AJ.
Oh, the two of them. Oh my God, that is.
That's a great show.
It's so
I love
ridiculous.
that he absolutely hates acting, and he's too lazy for like a girlfriend. He's like, he's the best. That guy. He's like, yeah, whatever. My fake sister and I'll have this great show and just have fun. Yeah, he's quite interesting guy. But all right, I want to go over some other cool. I wrote down 30 superheroes. Some
Nobody
of
here wants to be
which-
Groot.
I am
Who?
Groot.
I don't even know
I
who
am
that is.
Groot.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I am Groot.
Oh, I didn't watch that. That's not a me. I don't know if I'm old enough. I don't know.
I'm surprised because the soundtrack is amazing.
Oh, the soundtrack is probably one of the best soundtracks for a superhero film, just
Yeah.
bar none.
It's all vintage music. It's all
Oh,
classic.
it's
Corey sings whatchamacallit?
fooled around and fell in love.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
All right, so we went over Batman. This one's kind of within the Fantastic Four, but I know, Corey, you said you wanted to be the Human Torch.
I think the Human Torch, again, if I did, I don't know if I want to be, because he's a very inconvenient. Like, that could be you could really screw things up. Flame on, and then all of a sudden, you're next to something you shouldn't be, and it's over. It's done for everyone. You accidentally kill everyone. Not looking for that responsibility.
All right, I got one here that I really don't.
He was cool though.
Oh, he was
And
totally cool.
And Johnny
Actually, he wasn't
Storm.
cool, he was super hot.
What I said, flame on, and all of a sudden you're saying he's not.
Okay, this one kept coming up as one of the big ones, and I'm like, Green Arrow.
Green Arrow was really effed up, really effed up, and
I don't even know who Green Arrow is. That's not a one that I.
Yeah.
I love the Green Hornet.
Green Hornet's cool.
I like the Green Lantern, but the Green Arrow.
Green Arrow was really his storylines were really, really dark. Really, he was a junkie. He was, really, really intense. DC was really pushing boundaries when they wrote his stuff in the 60s and the 70s. He wasn't a cutesy superhero.
I don't know. I never heard of him. So
I don't know him either.
then I'll go with one of my favorites, but the movie was the worst movie ever. Flash.
Ooh.
I love the Flash in the DC, in the Justice League stuff.
And the Justice League cartoon, the
cartoons.
cartoon,
Yeah.
especially the James Nye era Justice League.
Yes.
He was the best on that show. He was
Flash
the reason to watch it.
The Flash that they made for the movie and the
The 2023 one when they tried to bring
See,
everybody.
Fred's saying Green Arrow rocks. I just don't know who Green Arrow is.
Again, look after this. Look him up. We're talking really intense storytelling with him.
All right, I'm gonna have to look it up. All right, so we mentioned Green Lantern. I got it. Here's another one. I remember him being in the Justice League stuff. Hawkman. Why does he rank high?
Hawkeye.
Well, no,
No,
Hawkman and
Mask.
Hawkwoman. They were
Yeah.
Hawk
they had
Girl.
a-
Actually, she was Hawk, which is always ridiculous. Come on, why couldn't she be Hawkwoman?
I like Hawkeye though. I like him. He's cool.
Who?
Hawkeye.
Not
Jeremy
Alan
Renner's
Alda.
character.
Oh, I was thinking Alan Alda.
Alan
Yeah,
Alda.
not
Yeah.
Nash. No,
Yeah.
different Hawkeye.
Yeah, I was
He's
going
my
Nash.
favorite Hawkeye personally, but
You like his pomposity and
What?
Hawkeye. Wasn't
Peter,
he kind of pompous?
yeah, but he was smart. Like he had the right to be.
I don't think I was. I feel like it's a cool thing if you're my age to say that MASH was the greatest show because it was like so intellectually stimulating.
Oh, you're not about to break my heart, are you?
I don't care what your heart is. I'm not a giant MASH fan. I watched a lot of the episodes. I probably have seen every single episode, but no, I watched that to get to whatever the next show was, kind of thing.
Oh,
yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh,
that was not my favorite show.
Fredo, you broke my heart.
Now that was my favorite movie, but that's the. And I didn't, and even the movie, Donald Sutherland was always a creepy dude.
I know, and it was great.
Is that where Kiefer gets it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. Like father, like son.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Okay, here's one, and he used to be on the cartoon with Captain America all the time. Adam. Remember little Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his face? Yeah.
Don't remember.
Yeah. So he used to be on with Captain America. That they would do their combination.
Wait, are we talking about like Henry Pym, Ant-Man?
No, Adam.
Oh,
not Ant.
Oh, see, I'm
Adam.
Don't know him.
Okay, because you guys aren't old enough to know Adam.
Yes.
Probably a lot of gems from like before I know of that I'm just not familiar with.
Okay. We already talked about Spider-Man. Okay, here's one that doesn't get the how about Thor?
Yes.
I mean, he's a literal god. He's
yeah. Flying with the big, hammer thing, and
he's cool.
He's cool.
Corey, this seems like
okay. Thank you, Fran. Thank you. Atom. Okay.
I spelled it. I figured that's what he meant.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Corey, do you know off the top of your head the name of Thor's hammer? This seems like something you would know.
Oh my god.
I know
that was the name. Oh my god.
Oh shit.
That's what people said when they hit them with it.
Yeah, when he got hit with them. Oh my god.
James, what was it?
Mjolnir or something like that. Something similar to that.
Yeah, that's right. Just wanted. I felt like Corey might know that off the top of his head. So
And usually that's the kind of crazy shit that I do usually know. I feel really disappointed in myself.
We're all disappointed in you.
I mean,
like how your mother and I feel.
I was gonna say, can't we have an hour and a half of my day where you're not telling me I'm a disappointment? Once a week, I can't get an hour and a half.
Let's see. Okay, here's one I never heard of. Solar.
Again, these are minor like sub characters from
yeah, but this guy made it in the top 25.
What's our source, by the way?
Yeah,
I googled top 25 superheroes of all time, and then
so this is like WholeFoods.com. It's not even like a comic book fan.
It was on Google, and these guys were the top 25. I'm skipping people because like we already talked about Spider-Man and we've talked about Iron Man already. All right, here's one. And Daredevil.
Cool.
Never saw any of the Daredevil movies.
It's not Ben Affleck worthy. That's all I can say.
I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah.
Come on. I'm just not seeing it.
I know.
I
got it. Yeah.
He's a good Daredevil, though.
I wasn't expecting a joke there. I don't know to be on the lookout.
It wasn't funny. So what's his wife?
Carmen Electra. Just Electra. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Electra.
Electra. I thought Electra was a lot cooler than Daredevil, personally. The movie was better too.
You're not wrong.
Okay, here's one. Captain Marvel.
So, are we talking about female Captain Marvel from Marvel, or are we talking Shazam Captain Marvel?
Shazam.
Because Marvel and DC had a Captain
Which, by the way,
Marvel.
the new movie was horrific. The Shazam movies are
Oh,
just,
with what's his face? With the
Levi? Zach
Yeah.
Levi?
those movies should have never come out. They were terrible. But the original one that was probably in like the early or late 60s, it used to be on Chiller Theater. I used to wait for this every once in a while. They'd give me Captain Marvel. It was, really bad cinematography and everything, but he was kind of like a Superman, but just didn't kind of make it. But he was cool, Captain.
They had a problem, like when they were writing the comic books. Yeah, Captain Marvel was way too, they're both DC characters. They were way too close, and I think they eventually had to have a battle of the century there, and they at least at one point killed off Captain Marvel.
So yeah, I like
Shazam.
Captain Marvel. All right, here's one for you. And I did like the first movie. I never saw the second one. Black Panther.
Love Black.
Cool.
Love him. Second movie, I didn't love it that much. I will say
I didn't. I watched minutes of it. I couldn't get into it. It wasn't doing it for me.
For me, it was extremely boring.
I mean, I think Black Panther was ultimately, first of all, what made Stan Lee so cool. Like all the Marvel heroes are so 1960s. They are the epitome of every movement that's going on. Think about it. Peter Parker as Spider-Man. This is the first time they have a teenager who's a superhero, a teenager doing something. This, we're talking about young men being sent off to Vietnam, but here we have a young guy who's a hero, who's, really just this average nerd. Black Panther, obviously the name invokes it. There was an energy. There was something about it. Like, this is
what's his name? Was he dying at that point?
He was dying throughout the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was.
Can you imagine? I mean, his movies were
the bravery that he displayed, because he made a few films while he was dying.
Yeah, I mean, he did Jackie Robinson, right?
He was James Brown. He was Jackie Robinson. He was the Black Panther.
Black Panther.
This dude was playing. Those are three iconic either characters or people.
Was he
like
Thurgood Marshall too?
Thurgood Marshall too. Yeah.
I mean,
like, damn, he could do most people get one biopic. No, you usually get associated with one biopic. You get one. Nah,
the world got robbed because he was special. The James Brown, he was so good in that movie.
He did the Netflix that adaptation of the August Wilson play, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. He was phenomenal in that too. He was a great actor.
Yeah, no, that's a shame. And I did like Black Panther a lot. I just did not like the second one at all. It was boring to me. I couldn't watch it. I would, like James said, it was was unwatchable.
Yeah,
I watched the whole thing, which was even more crazier.
I'm so sorry for you.
Can I finish off?
You're never getting back. Yeah, go ahead.
And then the other thing too, like with again, so we're talking about the Black Power movement. We're talking about young people with Spider-Man. You have the X-Men, mutants. We're talking about we're talking about the outsiders. We're talking about it was a little bit of a commentary on the hippies. It was a little bit of a commentary on the disabled rights movement that was going on. It was we're talking about real outsiders. We're talking about even to a degree of gay liberation. This was the X-Men. They represented something so much beyond just a bunch of superheroes. All of them, and then Captain America.
Here's the difference between you and I. That's why I don't like the X-Men. I don't care. I like when I watch a movie, I want to be really happy, or like I want great fighting scenes or beautiful women. I'm a very
with the X-Men, you got that and phenomenal writing.
She was blue.
What about Storm? Storm was cool. She was hot.
I mean, Halle Berry is always gorgeous. Okay, Jennifer Lawrence though is beautiful and she's fun. Like, who wouldn't want to hang out with Jennifer Lawrence just to go?
She's awesome.
Hang out with her. She's just the most fun.
Oh, she's a blast.
That girl's awesome. But yeah, the X-Men, there was too much hidden bullshit that I just don't like.
But I'm just saying, overall, Marvel, especially in the 60s, and Stan Lee, like, and Jack Kirby, the two of them, they wanted to make something that you can read on the surface and then something that you can go beyond. Even Iron Man, again, he was a raging alcoholic. He was a raging alcoholic. He had these problems. He was a man in a modern.
You were the English teacher who I hated. I just realized that. You are the English teacher I hated.
And then finally,
the one who had to tell me about the crap that I didn't see and don't want to see.
Yeah. Oh, come on, Thor's a commentary on religion.
My next person was Wolverine, just so you know, who we missed. Even though you're talking about the X-Men, was anybody here a Wolverine fan?
He's a conflicted character.
I love Wolverine. First of all, I think I know we're talking about movies. Logan, I think, is one of the best superhero movies out there too.
Gotcha. Give me why.
I love the background story. I loved how they kind of aged him and they were just more focused on Logan, the character, and less about Wolverine, which I thought they should do a lot more of those.
That's what I loved about The Dark Knight. It was more than a superhero movie. It was a movie about Logan, just like The Dark Knight's a movie about Bruce Wayne. That's, it was nice seeing, and that's what the genre right now. I hate most of the Marvel material that's coming out.
No,
I think once Marvel got Disneyfied and oversaturated, we lost so much of what was good about the storytelling. And that's what we're losing. We're losing the story. And when we decided to fall to the pressures of fandoms. I hate fans. I'm sorry. The fans ruin everything in multiverses. Ew. No, that's that should be on the internet. Like, these people are like, oh, I hated this movie. I hated it. It should have been this. This is what should happen in the movie. Here's my petition. I'm writing a petition to Disney and Marvel to make that it should be this. Right. And they caved and made the multiverse. Bullshit.
Okay. All right, here. And again, see, I just don't understand how we're related. But
I'm my mother's child, as you constantly remind me.
Yeah, I know. My daughter acts like me. But in any case, I liked the Adam West Batman. I liked the silliness and the stupidity of it. To me, that was fun. And I loved, by the way, the character. We'll talk a little villains on that.
I was going to say, want to go into Batman? Because there's, as far as the movies go.
I mean, Batman, obviously, you start out, though, let's say, with the Adam West.
I think it's the most extensive as far as film and television and everything goes. Batman, I think, is the gold standard.
He wasn't as angry, the Adam West. It was more funny, right? Steph loves Batman. And the whole thing, it was Alfred was cool. It was silly. The red phone, the bat signal. By the way, when they used to say same bat time, same bat station, same bat channel.
The bat channel.
Channel. I was like, I'll be back here tomorrow. I'm ready for this. I was looking forward to it every damn day.
That phrase itself is in the public psyche. That phrase, I probably use that phrase at least once a day. I'll call it, yep, you got same bat time, same bat channel. Like that phrase itself, I think, is in the collective consciousness at this point.
Subculture.
And they did something before anybody else did. They used guest stars. Every
Liberace.
Yeah, they had freaking Liberace. Liberace was a villain. They had Vincent Price, Cesar Romero. What the hell is the Riddler's name? Oh my God, he was the famous.
What did I do?
I just you.
What did I do? I didn't mean to do that. How am I doing this? No, I don't want this. Stop.
Must be AI.
All right.
No,
But,
it's Corey's a dumbass.
and Mr. Freeze. Speaking.
Oh God.
It worked. See how? But yeah, no, the Penguin. I mean, think about it. Mickey was the Penguin from Rocky.
Oh my
Burgess
God,
Meredith.
Burgess Meredith? Oh.
Burgess Meredith was the Penguin.
Oh my.
Eartha Kitt.
Oh jeez.
Well, you had Julie Newmar, who's actually still alive. Of all those people, she's the only one still alive, I believe.
She was.
Burt Ward might be a
Burt
little.
Ward is still living.
Yeah.
As far as the
Wait. You brought it up.
Are you a seal? What
Do y'all know about the fact about Burt Ward on the Batman TV show?
Oh
The
no,
one
that's gross.
the one I brought up 2 weeks ago. Yes, I've
That's
heard of
right.
That's
You
right. It
did.
was
Yes,
Dave.
about his endowment.
it. Wait, what?
Oh,
No, he talked about wind.
Wind?
Burt
nothing.
Ward. Burt Ward was told by the studio that he needed to take pills because he filled out the costume too much.
This is not the fun fact I brought up. I hereby retract my statement, but I did mention him recently about something completely unrelated to this.
Yes, he had too much going on in certain areas of his costume that they
Dave,
needed
why
to.
don't you tell us your fun fact that you gave us 2 weeks ago?
Well, it's not as fun as that, but I'll repeat it. It was that we were talking about side hustles, and Burt Ward owns a dog food company.
Right. The dog
Yes.
company. Yes.
So I guess he's no stranger to meat. But boom.
No, but
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. But again, the different King Tut, you know, the all the cool guest stars that would come on Batman and the Cat women. You know, we had Lee Merriweather was, I think, in the movie, and she was, I think, Miss America. And by the way, that movie, the original, the Batman movie, that was great. It was
oh
so
my God,
terrible.
with the sharks.
Yes.
With
yes,
the shark.
Batman's out there. And let me tell you something. I will always remember that movie and where I saw it. I was at you know, the tunnel bridge. What was that, North Carolina or Virginia, wherever the hell that tunnel bridge is. And it was the America House. It was this really cool hotel, and it had a beach and a pool. It had a game room, and at night they had a big giant screen, and they showed the Batman movie. Now, for a young boy who's whatever age I was, I don't remember how old I was, but I barely remember my sister being anything. So I had to be maybe 6 years old or something. And Allison was probably like 3. And we got to watch the Batman movie on this giant large screen out by the pool. Oh, and they had a pizza parlor too. Like today, this means nothing. But back then they had a game room with pinball and a beach and a pool and a giant screen. And I'm watching Batman. This is ultimate in life. I love this place. It's probably long since closed. I have to look it up if it still exists, but I'm sure it's an old dump by now. It was very cool as a kid.
Has there been a superhero that has had more adaptations than Batman?
No.
And is there a
Superman? I mean, Superman.
Superman more?
I mean, there's two Reeves, Henry Cavill, that other horrible one that happened.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Which one?
The last Superman movie.
Oh,
no, I'm talking about
Brandon Routh? You talking about him?
Yeah, what was the one again? We were in like what? Probably like 4th or 5th grade.
That was Brandon Routh. Yeah.
Brandon Routh.
Superman Returns. Well, here's the deal with Brandon Routh. This was after Christopher Reeve died. He had to fill in the shoes and tried to be Christopher Reeve, and it just didn't work out for him. I think he had a bad rep, honestly.
Also remember,
and a bad script.
The Christopher Reeve character was kind of like the Adam West character in Batman. It was silly. It was ridiculous. which was why it was fun and cool. And I actually remember my mother taking me. It was just she and I. She didn't take my sister. Just she and I. We went to Belmore. We went to see Superman. That was so cool.
It was a great
Mom
movie.
was cool. She not only took me to the Playboy Club, she took me to the Superman movie. Come on, how cool is that?
She was the true superhero.
Absolutely. Ruthie was amazing, man. She took me to some cool places. No, I told you guys a story. We used to, when we go to Broadway shows during the summer or during like Christmas break and stuff like that, we would go to the matinee. And the best meal in New York City for the cheapest price was at the Playboy Club. I think it was $6.95 for a full buffet.
Oh my God.
Damn.
So, but my mother's there with her goofy teacher friends, right? Myself and my sister. No alcohol being consumed. The bunnies are like pissed off because they're not getting a good tip. Not because my mother was cheap or anything, but because, the bill isn't being run up here. I'm having the best time. As a teenager, this is the greatest thing of all time. There's Playboy bunnies. I'm eating at a buffet, and wait. My mother was a superhero. I'm thinking about that. At the end of the meal, with your Playboy key, you got to choose between a we, O-U-I, we, or the Playboy that you get to bring home. And my mother would give me the Playboys. What a great mom. She was the best. I mean, that was just awesome. But this is another part, just to go off. One of the guidance counselors in high school said that I didn't read enough. So she said, what would it take for you to read more? I was like, Playboy.
And it's not comic books.
Yeah, it wasn't comic books. It was Playboy. So my mother would get the Playboy magazine. She would read all the articles and make me read all the articles and literally do like a book report on the articles. So if it was Jimmy Carter, who had like a famous article in there, or, any one of the amazing music articles that
I was
were
going
in
to say,
there.
it was some of the best pop culture stuff that.
I mean, that's how the first time I ever heard like Neil Young or any of those things were because George Benson. I discovered George Benson music because of Playboy magazine. But,
actually, to go a nice full circle on this, all the guys that got pissed off at Rolling Stone, who were Rolling Stone writers, when they were sick and tired of Jan Werner, they would go write for Playboy. Hunter Thompson used to do Playboy interviews.
And wasn't Hugh Hefner really every man's Superman?
Was he the true superhero?
I mean, come on. All of us want to come back as Hugh Hefner. Let's be serious. Come on. He had a grotto filled with.
By the way,
it was great.
By the way, I'm Craig Remaning this.
Yes.
Who's your Batman? Who's your Joker?
What do you mean?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let everybody else go first.
Who's your favorite Batman? Who's your favorite Joker?
I'll go first because I already know it. Adam West and Cesar Romero.
I guess I'll go next.
Okay.
Michael Keaton and Heath Ledger.
I agree with Heath Ledger. I'm not divisive or I'm not concrete on the Batman. I might lean toward Christian Bale, but it's not like definitive. Anyone but Ben Affleck.
Yeah, or Clooney. Fuck Clooney.
Oh my God. Oh, man.
Clooney's getting a divorce, I saw.
I never saw that one. Oh, okay.
I think I have to say Christian Bale because I think he was both a great Batman and a great Bruce Wayne. I am tied though for my Joker. I think that Heath Ledger, but I have to give my honorable mention to Mark Hamill in the cartoon.
Oh,
He embodied it because his voice, like it was so good. His voice.
You realize that all of you left off one of the greatest actors of all time.
Jack Nicholson.
Val Kilmer.
Jack Nicholson. You left off Jack.
I didn't forget him.
Right.
He was great. So was Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, I thought about Joaquin Phoenix as well too. Yeah.
They had a lot of odd guys playing that part.
Well,
That's what it took.
Yeah.
and each of them was completely different, though. That is the thing. The joke where Batman, there have been similar Batmans. The Joker has
picked Michael Keaton to be Batman. That's just a weird one, isn't it?
He was great. I thought he was awesome.
Yes, yeah.
well because he's
No,
so
it's
so
but it's-
everyman. Like he got that side of it, and again, he was a good Bruce Wayne. And that's important to me. Again, as we've told, I like the storytelling. I think that is, you
How
need to
come
have.
you didn't like Ben Affleck. I normally I just don't like Ben Affleck as a human in general.
Well, that's why I'm just biased
Okay.
in general. He has to work harder to get me to pay attention, and I didn't bother seeing any of the ones he did. I'm just assuming I know what I missed.
This is Gotham, not Gotham.
You know,
I'm gonna go after you, Wicked Had, Joker. I'm gonna go after Wicked Had.
I actually like some Ben Affleck movies, and I then despise some of his movies. I think there's some of the worst movies ever made, but he's been in some great movies.
Yeah, I like some. Good Will Hunting. I mean, some stand out.
yeah.
For the most part, I need to be swayed before I'm going to see him.
You want to tell me plays maybe one of my favorite movie villains of all time. He plays O'Banion in Dazed and Confused.
Oh,
God,
And he's a total dick. So you hate him there. That's why we hate him.
And he's so good at being so hateable.
well, he must be like that in real life then if he plays hateable so well.
Oh yeah, no. Oh my God, O'Banion. Oh my, can you? O'Banion made me want to be the best senior I could be. To not be him, I wanted to be Randy. I did not want to be O'Banion.
Well, you certainly didn't ever go to class as a senior, so I think you accomplished something.
No, no, you're very wrong. I never did my homework. I always went to class.
Right.
That's even worse. I'd rather you skip class. You're not going to do your homework.
I know more than the schmucks that I was in classes with.
Wow. All I know is you're in 11th grade, you didn't know how to play the piano. And all of a sudden by 12th grade, you were this phenomenal piano player. I was like, what the hell did you do in school? Evidently,
honestly, it's done more for me than knowing that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Here's one more trivia question for Corey on the subject of Ben Affleck. In what movie did Alanis Morissette make Ben Affleck's head literally explode?
Was because I always did want to know what movie her and Uncle Joey saw.
I don't understand this answer.
He brings it up all the time.
Well, her and Uncle Joe, that line in You Ought to Know.
Okay,
because that made her head explode. I'm assuming as well. But
that made her career explode in a good way.
I just want to know what movie it was that led to that. But
Answer
wait,
the question.
Oh God, I don't know.
Dogma.
Good
answer. Good reaction, by the way. I know we're kind of close to the end, but on the subject of superheroes we haven't touched on, has anyone here watched the original Amazon Prime series, The Boys?
Yes.
I think it's a terrific series.
It's amazing.
I loved the first season, and I've not liked it as much as the seasons have gone on. I feel like they're running out of storyline.
I think
but I loved the first season. The second season was good, but as it's gone on, I stopped watching.
I thought the third season was also really, really good too. The last season, except for the final episode, was not good. I didn't think it was that great.
Yeah. And they made the Aquaman guy such a loser.
Oh, the Deep.
Yeah.
He's a horrible person.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of.
I know everybody's kind of horrible, but yeah.
Fun little fact: The Boys is actually the reason why I love Billy Joel so much.
Really?
Yeah, like the first season, he played so much of it, and then I started listening on my own. I'm like, oh, I love this man. It was like one of my favorites.
I just
what
I
was
feel
the-
like it's such a lame title. Like that tells you nothing about the show you're
Oh
watching.
yeah, no, it
Well,
completely.
yeah, that's.
Um,
I guess it's.
I
the
gotta go.
boys'
I'll
club.
try to go back. I've only seen up to this third season. I haven't seen the
They're
new
up to
season.
4. I think they said they're going to do a 5th, which I believe is going to be the last. I don't know if they've announced when
Which
that's
I
coming
think they
out.
should. Yeah, it should be the
Yeah,
last.
it's better to wrap and not go too long.
That's absolutely. How did? By the way, we never mentioned Howard the Duck tonight. The greatest,
understand?
the greatest comic book film adaptation of them all.
Can you just hold the button down for a few seconds? Oh, is it that loud for Craig?
Yeah, with the earphones, it's horrible.
Oh,
Actually, there is one
Fine.
show that we did not talk about that was pretty cool when I was a kid. The Greatest American Hero
I know of it.
on ABC.
I can sing. I know the theme song.
Yeah,
And I
I
know-
was gonna say the theme song
Yeah.
was the coolest part.
Believe it or not, you still hear that on.
Believe
like,
it
yacht-
or
Believe
not.
it or not,
You still hear that on
I'm
yacht rock.
flying
radio.
on-
it's the epitome
Um,
of yacht rock.
Do you remember the Mighty Isis
No.
superhero? She's
Didn't they
dead.
blow? I was about to say, didn't they blow up a bunch of UNESCO
No, different- different
cultural
different
sites?
Unfortunate that ISIS was just a girl's name like 30
Yes.
years ago, and now it's
Right.
something else.
She
There
was
was-
a beautiful
Well,
superhero
that-
chick.
What is that? What Android Pay used to be called?
Oh, I don't know.
Who? What?
The equivalent of Apple Pay. The original of that, the precursor to that, was on Android, and it was called ISIS, and then they had to change it.
I never used it. Don't know it.
And then there's the Bob Dylan song "ISIS." I was thinking about ISIS on the 5th day of May. I gave her my word.
All righty. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I don't. To answer your question, Craig, I'm not familiar with the Mighty ISIS. What era was that?
70s.
Okay.
It was in the 70s, I believe. Yeah, I think I went through pretty much every single one of the ones that I wanted to go through. We
What
did.
about
Green-
Deadpool?
Oh, Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? Again, I forgot to mention with that. Yeah, with Deadpool, like I absolutely Wait, that's great.
How is
That's
that?
absolutely great. That's
That's-
absolutely great. Because of course you do, and secondly, that's phenomenal. But
What was-
with Deadpool,
God.
with Deadpool, I said how much I've really hated most of the content that Marvel's put out in the last like 7 years because it was just too much, and the fact that I need to see 12 other movies and 6 TV shows to understand half of what's going on,
Yeah.
that was stupid. And the fact that the third Deadpool movie was just making fun of all of that. It made fun of how stupid the multiverse is. It was saying it pretty much putting the mirror on itself and saying, that
I
was
would
like,
say that Deadpool and Wolverine
yeah,
is one of the best MCU movies in the last 5 years.
I would say it is the best because you know what? It
Or
was
the best.
it was different.
Well,
and
that
I'm
and No Way Home was also my 2 favorites right there.
Again, it was Spider-Man. They're doing a good job with. I'm really excited about the Fantastic Four movie because it looks so different than the rest of the stuff that Marvel's been putting out really since the start. That kind of the 60s retro thing going on. It like the new one. I think the new take on the Silver Surfer is going to be really cool. Like I was really impressed that they're like, okay, we need to take a step back. We saw how well Deadpool did. We saw how not great any of these TV shows are doing. The limited, just bad. They were putting out bad content. It makes me sad because again, as a kid, I loved before Disney had Marvel. I loved Marvel. I loved it. Again, even as a kid, I loved like the kind of the socio-political kind of undertones that it had, and Disney lost that. Disney lost what made Marvel so much different than DC. DC was your pow, punch, boom, 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 with a few exceptions. But yeah,
That I like.
and that's why you're a Superman guy.
Right. That's totally.
No, and again, that's not an insult either. You know what? That's what you want as a superhero thing. Your thing is that you want that. Your superheroes to you, that's escapism. That's
Right.
your way out of it. Where I do like this kind of really deep storytelling. I really
like to be happy. You like to be grumpy. That's exactly
I need to know that there are people doing worse than me.
it's where I want everybody to do well and be happy. I want Superman. I want it to be great. This is what makes me happy. When everybody succeeds, that makes me happy. I really, I root for the good. I always want everybody to end up on top. Really. I root for my friends to do well. I root for everybody to do well. I'm going to admit, if I don't like you, I probably root very much against you. But as long as you're a friend of mine, I'll do anything for you.
I think all of us have a villain in us and all of us have a hero in us. And I would rather see us all succeed to be the heroes we can be and overcome our challenges as villains.
By the way, we never my favorite Superman is still George Reeves. I like the original. He was cool. I never was a big fan of Christopher Reeves stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of hokey. George Reeves.
Yeah, he's my Superman.
I was going to say my live action one, but I honestly think my favorite.
We all
Superman
know that
was
you didn't that Lex Luthor wasn't your favorite. Because you didn't know who he was when we went over the show.
Hey, I got better with that. I watched more movies after that.
But I think my favorite Superman, though, I honestly think was the cartoon version from the Justice League. He was the least Clark Kent and the most Superman.
He's my second favorite.
I'm talking again the later, like not the Super Friends, but the Justice League from the 2005. I want to say.
No, I don't even know that one. I only know the ones in the 80s. I know that Super Friends thing. So, but yeah, it's already 9:41.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
So, James, what are you plugging?
I actually did an episode yesterday.
Whoa.
My first episode in 3 weeks. Not good, but
Nice.
yes, Common Everyday People podcast. Last episode is out. What did we talk about? We talked about a bunch of random things. Vacations. We did like a lightning round with answering some interesting questions. But yeah, no, that's all I got for you.
All right. It's you did a show and we have more shows to come.
Yeah, look at that.
Bigger and better than ever.
Yeah. Oh, I have a wedding date too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do we want to have like a drum roll or do we even want to put that on?
I'll just say it. It is August 21st, 2026 in New Haven.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Keep everything else off the air.
Yes, I'll let you know more.
Dave, what you got coming up this week?
Friday, Pioneer Valley Brewing in northern Massachusetts.
Nice.
Next Wednesday, Grove 34 in Astoria. And I actually have a Monday show in Prospect at a restaurant coming up on May 19th. I'll leave it at that for now. Yes, thank you. Corey's got my website up there. Thank you.
No problem.
Corey, do you have any clue where you're going to be?
Usually, so by the way, I do want to just throw a shout. I guess I'm going to use my plug. Check out the Digital Journal article that again I was quoted in with that Marcos wrote. I thought that was really, really cool that he took the time to actually take my comment down. Check out his stuff. Marcos Papadatos. I've read a few of his articles now today. Really a fun writer, a great writer, takes subjects that you're not thinking about. That's what I'm going to use for my plug.
Okay, well then I guess I'll be the one who has to plug you for what we're really doing this week.
Which never happens.
Right. So on Friday, we will be traveling. It'll be our first bike and beer of the year. We will be down in Montclair, New Jersey, right? Or
Montpelier.
No, Montpelier's in
Monmouth.
Monmouth, right?
I was about to say Montclair. I'm familiar with Montclair.
We'll be in Monmouth, New Jersey at Bird's Eye Brewery, right, Corey?
Oh shit, I spelled that wrong. It's only my band name. I forgot the L.
So yeah, it'll be our first bike and beer of this season, and we have an excellent lineup.
Jesus Christ, I just can't win today. I just cannot win today.
Look him up on Instagram; it's easier.
Yeah.
But the lineup for this week will be on drums, Dom the Professional. We have Schultze on lead guitar, and as always, Jack and Corey, bass, guitar, keyboard, singing. So it should be a fun weekend. And we get to have Lisa with us this weekend. Yay. Because I hate when Lisa's not there. And then next week, we get to go on one of our fun ones that we did not get to go on last year. We will be down in Hershey, PA.
Ooh.
Trogs Brewery. So that should be fun. And then on the way home, Corey's got a Mother's Day gig that we'll promote later, which we just found out. Brother Dave actually booked Corey. But by the way, Brother Dave will be playing with us at Trogs Brewery. So that should be fun. But Corey's going to be at the Sinesta Hotel in White Plains on Mother's Day. And by the way, Corey, you don't know this, but I booked the room for the night before.
I had a feeling you might.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, it's Mother's Day, whatever, we'll go. We'll have Mom drive Jack's car, hopefully, to White Plains as we're coming back from Hershey, and Jack will just jump out of the car and drive home from White Plains, and that way we can park in White Plains, and Mom will be there with only having one car.
And awesome.
There you go.
And I'm going to close out the show with a Warren Zevon quote. Enjoy every sandwich.
There you are. You should. Aren't we going to play? Aren't you going to have it come out with like Lawyers, Guns, and?
No, because I want to be able to have this shared on YouTube.
If you play for 10 seconds, it won't matter.
David Geffen is a scary man.
Please.
Is that the name of one of Warren's songs?
No, it's just the guy who owns
Lawyers, Guns, and Money.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That is one.
Send Lawyers, Guns, and Money. The shit has hit the fan. But yes, Warren Zevon said when he was on his last interview with David Letterman, his boy, Letterman asked him, is there any, he knew he was dying of cancer. There was cancer running throughout his entire body. And Letterman asked him, is there any insight that you have now that you know what you're going through that you can tell the rest of us? You know, I really wish I had enjoyed every sandwich just a little bit more. So enjoy every sandwich. He is so missed. I'm so happy for him. I'm happy for the other nominees too, but in particular, really on a serious note, the last few years I've fought real hard with a lot of other people, a really great community of people who've tried to get this man acknowledged to be in the Hall of Fame where he's belonged for so long. And it is such an amazing thing that I got to see that happen last night. So enjoy every sandwich, everybody.
And also the, is that a YouTube documentary, Corey, with the Warren Zevon?
Yeah, you can
Letterman stuff.
Yeah, you can literally watch every time that he was on Letterman's show from when he was on NBC until, again, the month before he passed away. And that final album.
It's extremely worth watching it. Him and Dave have a phenomenal relationship. It's like a yin and yang thing, and Letterman truly, truly liked him. And at that note, Jack Tucker is calling me, so I'm going to get off the air.
All right, everyone, happy Dilem-Monday. Catch you next week.
We're ending Dilemma.